The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Johners, episode 237, and I'm joined by two fabulous guests on the eve of Sirens Fury, the all-woman show from TNT Extreme. I've got Molly Spartan and Kasey Owens on the Wrestling with Johners podcast. Good evening, thank you for joining me. How are you?
Not bad. I'm tired, but that's nothing unusual. Basically, back this up. I'm usually sleepy unless I'm in a fight. Then that's when I wake up. I think I use all my energy in one go, and then I just fall asleep.
So go ahead, Kasey.
Same here. Been running about mad all day, getting stuff ready for the weekend and things like that. So ready to go. Let's get this done.
Indeed. And Molly, you're kind of in the middle of the Inside the Ropes tour. You've taken a well-earned break from there to join us tonight. So we are honoured, but not joined by Kurt Angle in the background or anything like that. So
No.
with his dodgy knees and everything.
Yeah,
So we are here primarily to talk about this. Sirens Fury, Thursday the 28th of April from the Fusion Nightclub in Liverpool. Tickets still available via wrestlingtravel.com. A hell of a show, a hell of a card. We're going to get into all of that very, very soon. But you are scheduled to be in the very first TNT Women's Tag Title match against the Liverbirds, Lizzy, Evo, and Angel Hayze. So a new championship. Now, up until, I think, that November last year, you were the TNT Extreme Tag Team Champions, but now you've got the women's tag team titles. You're hoping to be crowned the inaugural women's tag team champions of TNT this coming Thursday. We're a few days out from the show. How are you feeling about the event? And how are you feeling about the match?
Well, we've got a lot of bones to pick with those two, since they were the reason we lost the TNT Tag Team Championships in the first place. So it's only right that we win and become the first ever women's tag team champions of TNT. I mean,
it's no stranger to anybody. This is obviously not the first time that we've crossed paths. I mean, although we've never been in tag matches, we've been in tag matches against each other, but not in this setting, not in these sort of terms, and as this pairing. Me and Kasey, obviously, it's not a secret. We are best friends. We are an actual tag team. We're not just thrown together to try and boost one another and try and help each other's career. And I'm not saying that, Lizzy and Angel aren't friends. I'm just saying that it's kind of suspicious that this pair get together when they see just what women can do when they join forces. And it's going to be, let's be honest, it's going to be a fight. It's not going to be some pretty technical masterclass. It's going to be a fight because, quite frankly, we don't like them.
No.
It's like their attitudes are stinking. They've been swaggering around there ever since we've not been there for the last handful of months. And as Kasey said before, without the She-Wolves, there was no division.
No.
And I'm not saying that people like Lana Austin, who worked there before, didn't work hard. They worked so hard that it actually caught our attention. And we looked at it and thought, that needs to improve. The women that are working there deserve better. They deserve a division. They deserve competition.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, us pair, we're the biggest competition you are ever going to get on this scene.
Absolutely.
And Lizzy, Angel are going to get that on Thursday.
100%. And Kasey, I know that you've recently returned from a layoff. we're all aware of the injury that occurred, and you have wrestled a few matches, so you kind of are easing yourself back into a regular schedule. But this match at Sirens Fury is going to be a real test for you, isn't it? And I mean, how are you feeling coming off the back of that injury, headed into this match at Sirens Fury?
I mean, it's like riding a bike, isn't it? You don't forget. You get back on it. You keep going. And next week, like Molly was saying, it's not going to be your pretty little wrestling match. We have a lot to get off our chest with them, and we're going to do it with our fists. And that's it. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be your indie darling stuff. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be messy, and it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Knees as well. She's quite good with old knees.
I'm pretty good with knees.
Absolutely. And I've seen your hype videos, your promo videos ahead of Sirens Fury next Thursday, the 28th of April. And you seem to have the edge back. You seem to have your motivation back. You seem to be hungry and kind of after blood, dare I say. Do you kind of feel that you are ready for the battle on Thursday?
You're saying that like it disappeared. It didn't. It never has. It's never gone. We have always been starving. And that's why we are the force to reckon with. Because we are always hungry. It's never disappeared. All that's changed is we got in a better mood. And people see that as weakness. They see a smile and think, this chump, we can take advantage of them. But that's so unbelievably wrong. Yes, Kasey was on the back foot because of some fannies that decided to walk out in front of her while she was on her motorcycle. And I can tell you now, if I ever find out who they were, I'll do time for that girl. Because it took time off her. Right?
Yeah. A lot of time.
Never gone.
Frustrated over here.
Unbelievably so. It's never gone. Just because we haven't been there doesn't mean that we've changed. Just because we're in a better mood doesn't mean when you step through those rings, we've become different people all of a sudden. And Thursday, there's gold on the line now. It's not just about getting revenge. It's not just about getting their first match back in TNT in the year.
Yeah.
We're getting things that, quite frankly, without us, wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
The moment we saw the tag titles, we said today, we're going to be having them. And look what happened.
We said that the first time we seen the first set of tag titles. When that daft tournament that went on for like 16 years, Jesus, went on. That's when we said we're having them, and quite frankly, we took those.
Yeah,
we're taking these.
Well, let me ask you then: how important would it be for you to be the first ever TNT Women's Tag Team Champions, and what would it mean to you to hold them straps at the end of the match?
Frankly, it's long time coming. Like we've said before, this division wouldn't be the division in the UK if it wasn't for people like us, if it wasn't for us pushing and showing the entire UK scene what you can do with women and what women are capable of and more.
Mm-hmm. This is just the start, John. Because Lizzy and Angel are two of the most talented women that are on this scene. We're not disagreeing. If anything, they are the challenge. And quite frankly, although it would mean the world for us to hold those titles, we know those titles have been made because of us. So of course we're the ones that should take them. But realistically, it's more about getting back at those two loudmouth brats that have been swaggering about there for the last few months, knowing that we're not there. Again, I've said it before, you can scream as many obscenities, shout as whatever you want into the wind when you know that nobody's listening. We've all been kids when we were growing up, angry at our parents, swearing at the mirror so that we didn't tell our mum to go ourselves. But that can only go so far. And the thing is, they're stupid because there's cameras there. There's phones. Of course, we've heard what you've said. But now we need to come down there, smack that smile off your face, put you back where you should be, and teach you, quite frankly, to know your place.
Absolutely. It sounds to me, with what I've seen from Lizzy Evo, Angel Hayze, and the She-Wolves, that it's got personal now. It's got personal, and this is a long time in coming, this match. And I think for anybody there at the Fusion Nightclub next Thursday, the 28th of April, like you say, they're not going to see a wrestling match. They're going to see a fight. They're going to see a war between four of the best talents on the UK scene currently.
Come to think of it, Lizzy beat me for that championship all that time ago. Did I, correct me if I'm wrong, did I get my rematch?
Nope.
Exactly. So this goes back further than you think. There's a lot of deep-hated blood between me and her. So let's say...
We also think even further back than that.
Even further than that.
Angel Hayze debuted. Wait, how did she end up debuting for JADE? Oh yeah, we brought her in because she was trying to be one of us, but didn't quite cut it. Is it just because you're hurt about that? Because you weren't She-Wolf's material. I feel like it's maybe more to do with that than anything else. Just two bitter little girls.
Yep.
Talented. The absolute future of female wrestling. And in fact, no. Wrestling.
Yeah.
Coming out of the UK, for sure. Again, we're not here to argue how talented these women are because, again, I kind of weirdly respect them. And because we don't waste our time on people we don't respect. Doesn't mean we like you. Respect doesn't mean we like you. But it doesn't mean that you get our attention. Because if we don't respect you, we just switch the phone off, close the door, and go on with our lives. But yeah.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. And just to remind everybody, this is the match that we're referring to. The inaugural Women's Championships from TNT Extreme at Sirens Fury. It's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be a hell of a show. But before we continue, I must throw a plug to our sponsors, 1310 Apparel, who are the amazing sponsors of not just this podcast, the Wrestling with Johners podcast, but the Johners Podcasting Network. And if you go over to their store at WrestleMerch Central, you can see their fantastic range of apparel from their hardcore line through to their lucha line of t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and their more traditional 1310 t-shirts and four corner apparel also. And if you head over to their Big Cartel store or their 1310 store over at WrestleMerch Central, you can see the exclusive Heidi Katrina 1310 apparel shirt there. And as a viewer and a listener to the Wrestling with Johners podcast, you can take advantage of our deal with 1310 at their global store at WrestleMerch Central. And at checkout, you can save yourself 10% off at all of that lovely swag and apparel that we've just brought up on screen there, simply by using 1310 WMC as the discount code at checkout. And that's 1310 apparel over at WrestleMerch Central. Get yourself a lovely discount at the end of your purchase by using the discount code 1310 WMC. So, Molly, Kasey, it's back to us. There we go. Jericho, eat your heart out. But I got to ask, the She-Wolves. Now, I think that this 2022 marks the fourth anniversary of the birth of the She-Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. Give us a little bit of a history lesson. How did the She-Wolves evolve? How did they start to the point where we know them today?
The She-Wolves started because I can't get rid of her.
No, yeah.
That's simply, I just can't get rid of her. Kasey was in my debut match. She was tagging with her sister at the time, and it was myself and Carmel tagged against the wonderful Owens twins. Then my first singles match, guess who it was? Basically, it got to a point where I realised if I don't start tagging with this bitch, I'm going to be wrestling her.
Wait a minute.
I'm in the
Keep
grave.
your enemies closer. Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, yeah. But yeah, basically, like through wrestling, me and Kasey as people and like morally and stuff like that, we have very similar ethics with stuff. And just when you find somebody, especially in wrestling, who shares the same moral compass as you do become closer. So yeah, it started off as a friendship, then it started off as battering, then it became battering one another.
Yep.
And then we became friends again. But initially, the original birth of the She-Wolves actually started as the Queen Bees in Future Shock, but that was alongside Jayla Dark. We did a year there, and then once sort of we stopped working at Future, not that we won't go back, lovely, wonderful place, had a great time, all the fun in the world. If you got kids, take kids to that, like wonderful if you're in Manchester.
It just that story just like
it's come to its time, but we hadn't. Although we hadn't done with it, and we wanted to take this further. We wanted to truly sort of, as a team, we were very good at causing a bit of, ironically with this one, a bit of chaos. And
to follow me about.
I follow you, you follow me. It means we never get lost. It's fine. Someone will bring sandwiches, it'll be good. But we knew that we had something. We knew there was something more to this. It wasn't just going to be, oh, that was fun, let's carry, like, we knew there was more that we can do with this. And we also knew that we were good at getting reactions out of people. We were good at also getting girls to like push themselves. We wanted to like get to a place where we can find a place that we can really sink our teeth into this on a more dull or more extreme level, but also motivate the people around us to do the same. Because quite frankly, we kind of got sick and tired of trying to do what we wanted to do and getting told, but yous are the girls. And we were like, oh my days. And I think any girl, there will be some point in your life we have been told, you're a girl. Ooh.
Because then we're going to run ragged around you.
This is going to happen. This is all right. But we then, I remember, like, this is bizarre. Like, so there was a show that Kasey was on where she was in a gauntlet match with Lana Austin, Little Miss Roxy, and Nadia Sapphire.
Yep.
And that night also had my husband Wolfgang on it. It had Stevie Boy, and was BT Gunn on that show as well?
He was there.
So basically, anybody that I would hang out with that day was at this show in Liverpool. Right? So I was like, I'm coming. You're not leaving me at home. I'm coming. I came down with them all, stood at the back of that room at TNT, said hello to Jay, introduced myself as, hi, I'm Spartan, how you doing? I'm going to set up the room. I did help sell some merch. I wasn't just poking a ticket. I'll come and help lend a helping hand. But when I was watching the match and I was watching TNT, I was like, this is the place. This is where we could do this. And I was concocting this plan in my head, which Kasey can tell you happens all the time. I was like, quietly sitting here.
All these messages, I got this idea.
There's just this quietness, and then it's like, she's like, oh, hey, we're in this. But then approaching Jay, and ironically, it was after being on a tour and being really annoyed at somebody that somehow sparked me to go, Zach, I'm messaging Jay, and just was like, hey, this is the idea I've got. This is what we want to do. Give us a try. If you think it's the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, you never need to talk to me again. 4 years on, we're still there.
Yeah.
So he either thinks my banter is incredible and never wants to let me go, or we did an alright job, or possibly both.
Absolutely. And I know that you've been together for a number of years now. We explained earlier on, but you did have another member, didn't you? Rio was part of your faction for a little bit of time. Now, I had Rio on the podcast back in January, and she was explaining the story of the red braid, the single red braid, which ties in with kind of how she eventually left, or maybe how you kicked her out of the group. Tell us about Rio and being part of the She-Wolves, because it's quite an interesting story, isn't it?
Well, Rio, she was one that, again, we respect. She's a fantastic worker. She is going to be the next big thing. Like, I've said it many times. And at the time, she caught our eye, and we thought, yeah, bring her in. I think she'll do pretty well. We can guide her and help her and get her the platform that she deserves. And we did that for a while, and she didn't live up to those expectations. She lost a few matches and it just wasn't working out. So we made the creative decision to kick her out of the She-Wolves and take a wee memento, which we still have to this day. And that was when we cut that single braid out of her hair to leave that lasting impression, to say, don't screw over the She-Wolves next time, or else it's going to end up a little bit worse than just this.
Absolutely.
It was a bit of love.
Yeah,
we do still respect her. We do still actually love her a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You might think that's a strange way to show it, because we have kept that braid. And again, if we didn't like you or love you or even respect you, I would have just set it on fire. I like setting fires.
So I have to ask you then, are you on the lookout for other members then? Are you happy just with the two of you as the She-Wolves, or do you want to expand it further to maybe, dominate the Northwest even more and Scotland, the whole of the UK?
Well, right now we are enjoying just us. Means the car journeys are quieter and we do get to pick our own music.
Good point.
But never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never. Never say that that's not possible. Never say that someone won't catch your eye again, because that's how Rio got involved. And also never say never that Rio might not catch your eye again. She is an incredible talent. She has got this. There's just this.
There's something about her.
There's just this thing about her that's captivating. And sometimes you can't put your finger on it, but you can't stop watching. But also, who knows? Maybe down the line, Lizzy Evo and an Angel Hayze might actually fit the mold. And yeah, never say never. And who knows? It might end up becoming the entirety of a division. Because why not?
Why not?
There we go. Very interesting. And I said to you off air, the last time I saw the two of you in action was at TNT Extreme Fields last October. A fantastic match when you were the TNT Extreme Tag Team Champions. And you corrected me off air that you actually wrestled Pretty Little Things, which you actually successfully defended those titles. But was it yourself, or was it Jay, or a combination, or was it just the fact that you were just blistering through all of your opposition that eventually got you that chance to become the tag team champions of TNT? Tell us about that and how that came about, and your amazing success in 2021 with TNT.
I mean, quite frankly, the history books say it all. It doesn't need to be Jay. It doesn't need to be us running through our competition or anything of that thing, because we never ran through our competition. We fought them. We found a way to defeat.
There were highs, there were lows, there were everything. Like we were entirely successful all last year.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's this. Some people have this mad bravado where they only want to talk about the good, but in reality, You never learn from winning. You learn from losing. You learn how to be better, how to be quicker, how to be smarter from losing. Losing is not shameful. Staying in the past, that's shameful.
Yeah.
But going forward with what you've learned from losing, that's respectable. That's gracious. But compared, when you look at the history books, the only other tag team that wrestled more tag matches than us were the Kings of the North. That's it. You could put any other tag team, they didn't come close to the amount of tag matches the She-Wolves had had. When it wins the tag team, the She-Wolves had had. So the fact that we were a surprise was a slight smidgen insulting, because realistically and logically, we were the only viable team that should have been answering that call.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to park TNT to one side just for a moment, because besides Sirens Fury on the 28th, you've both got some amazing championship matches to look forward to this coming weekend, Sunday the 23rd. Molly, I'm going to start with yourself, because almost a year to the day, you face Angel Hayze again at ICW Barred for Angel's ICW Women's Championship. Now, I've seen the promo video, I've seen the hype video. It is going to be inside that steel cage again, but this time you're going to have fans there, aren't you? It's going to have that atmosphere, it's going to have that buzz. I doubt that the fans make any difference to you anyway, because when you're in that ring, when you're locked on your opponents, it doesn't matter. But how are you feeling ahead of that? Because before Sirens Fury, we got ICW Barred and your championship match against Angel Hayze.
So, yeah, it has been a year. And you're saying that I'm taking Angel Hayze's title. I should be getting back my title this Sunday. Because what should have happened a year ago is I should have been given that title. Because it was the longest vacant title in the company. Actually, a small smidgen of a fact. My debut was in the garage, which is where Bard's going to be held this Sunday, where that night as well, the title was officially vacated. So from my first day in that company, there was no champion. I worked my arse off to make sure that I was at a level. No one has made such a mark since I came in. No one's fast-tracked it that quickly. Not even this one, who's unbelievably talented. And she was treated the same for quite some time. That's another thing we bond over. And at the Battlelands, at Fear and Loathing, Angel should have been taking that title off me. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I mean, I should have won the Battlelands. No. She was the better woman that night. She should have been taking that title off me that night. And on Sunday, I should be getting back. I, on Sunday, should be a 2-time women's champion, but I'm not. Because they knew at that moment in time, I was the inevitable winner there. But now a year's passed, and you showed that graphic up there. That was from last year's.
It was.
Bard. Those are two very different women on that photo. Very different.
Mm-hmm.
From me to Angel Hayze. Angel Hayze is not that smiling, cutesy little girl anymore. She is the lioness. She is far more ferocious and calculating than anybody gives her credit for. I mean, like, you understand. Like, no one can touch her. But me, see, I've been biding my time. I mean, normally you find, for some reason, we seem inseparable as well. But the last wee while, I've stepped back just a smidge because I want to see where the weaknesses are and how easily she can be distracted. And on this Sunday, I get what's rightfully mine. And the She-Wolves, not just me, I know I'm not just in this by myself, will hold the ICW Women's World Championship again, because we know our place. And that's at the top of the women's division.
Absolutely. And Molly, just sticking with you a little bit further, because not only are you looking to take the ICW Women's Championship on Sunday against Angel Hayze, are you seeing this as an opportunity to soften Angel up for the tag match that's coming up that Thursday at Sirens Fury, and to kind of get a double whammy on her, basically?
I mean, of course. I mean, I'd be lying if I wasn't. I mean, it gives her an opportunity as well. But quite frankly, Angel Hayze ain't throwing me about. Well, I, on the other hand, can throw about Angel Hayze in my sleep. And the fact that there's a cage surrounding that ring just means that there's a weapon attached around the ring for me.
Absolutely. And Kasey, you've got a busy weekend. We spoke about it off air, but on Sunday, at the same time that Molly's going to be in the cage with Angel Hayze, you're going to be at Pro Wrestling Eve, taking on the Pro Wrestling Eve champion Jetta for the Pro Wrestling Eve Women's Championship no less. Now, you are a former 3-time ICW champion, the longest reigning TNT Women's champion of all time. So a long list of accolades and accomplishments. But the Eve Championship is one that's eluded you, possibly up until Sunday. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I've got a bit of a gripe with Dan at Eve, and that is because, unfortunately, due to my injury, I couldn't compete. So I couldn't defend my international title. So my title was very unceremoniously taken away from me. So now I'm not the longest ever running international champion at Eve anymore. So I have a lot to say, and I have a lot to show the Eve fans whenever I get to Eve on Saturday. That, yeah, I may not have that championship, but at the end of the night, I'm going to have that championship. And there's no secret that Jetta and I have taken each other to our limits. Various time limit draws at She Ones, various other matches where we've just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and came out at the end of it broken women. But at the end of it, I learned a lot about Jetta. I learned a lot of her strengths. I learned a lot of her weaknesses. And I'm sure she's done the same with me. But the difference being now is it's a different Kasey. It's a different Kasey from the last time that she wrestled me at She Won. So she doesn't really know. She thinks she does. She doesn't. So when it comes to us on Saturday, Jetta has no idea. And that championship's coming back to Scotland.
Absolutely. That's going to be an incredible match, an incredible pair of matches. And I know that's last year's graphic. I couldn't find this year's, but two fantastic championship matches to look forward to there. Now, can you imagine you both being victorious this coming weekend and walking into the Fusion Nightclub on Thursday the 28th with your singles championship draped over your shoulders, and then going on to become the first ever TNT Women's Tag Team Champions? How sweet would that be in your mind?
Yes. Belter of a photo.
I know she's going to lose it.
It's made, baby. Just I think it would be a monumental moment to genuinely count just how much hard work it has been to get to that point. That's what it will be.
That's what it means.
It will show us that truly defying the people that doubt you and believing in yourself and believing the people around you can do whatever they actually set their mind to, no matter how many people say, no, try to do this.
Oh, but you're a girl.
You're girls. Like, maybe you just no. We can do everything and anything anybody can do. And this is not me taking down the guys at all. No. Like, it is a case of to this day, female wrestlers will be able to admit that not one of us hasn't had that horrible, snide message from someone that we don't know about how, oh, I missed it back in the day where there were Brian Panties matches, or I missed this. Not and completely dress us down for the way that we look, not from our work. But if you just tell them to keep their mouth shut and you just work hard, you can defy anything. I always have. I've spent my life defying the boys' clubs. And this is no different. And on Thursday, when we take those tag team titles, because we are the tag team, it will just show what can happen when two women come together. They can take over. They can rule the world as singles competitors and as a team. You don't need to do this by yourself.
Nope.
Sometimes sharing the gold and sharing the celebration can be even sweeter.
100%. Yeah, you've got me sold. I think I'm talking to the next or the first ever TNT Women's Tag Team Champions. But before we let you go,
John,
carry on.
Was there any doubt?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I don't think I'm brave enough to say otherwise in front of you two. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run down some of the amazing matches that we will see at Sirens Fury next Thursday. Of course, your host, your ring announcer is going to be the lovely JADE WALFORD. And you've got VISAGE versus JADE there, which is going to be a great match.
No, that's the commentary team. That's the commentary team.
Oh, is that the commentary team?
That's the commentary team.
Correct. Emerson Jane versus... there had to be one slip up, didn't there? There had to be one slip up. Emerson Jane versus Lucy Sky is going to be a cracking match. You never know. The commentary team might want to get in the ring at some point. They might want to challenge you guys. Who knows? We're also going to be looking at the debut of the Uprising on Thursday the 28th from the Fusion Nightclub. Then we got a number one contenders women's rumble to see who will be going up against the women's champion when all said and done. Alex Windsor versus Session Moth Martina is going to be another excellent match at Sirens Fury. And then, of course, you've got the four-way for the TNT Women's Championship: Rio versus Alexis Falcon versus Max versus Ivy. And then, of course, this is the match we're all looking forward to. This is a match that everyone's going to be buying their tickets for. The Liverbirds versus the She-Wolves. There's only one winner. We've already discussed that. We know how it's going to end. And then, of course, you've got the Extreme VIP meet and greet. And, of course, you can get your tickets to see the show and the Extreme VIP meet and greet at wrestlingtravel.com. So get your tickets now. I think there's still tickets available, so do not miss out. But before we let you go, and I want to thank you for being excellent guests on this episode of Wrestling with Johners, an opportunity for you to throw out any socials, any YouTube channels, any merch, any plugs, anything you want to throw out to my listeners and viewing audience.
Well, you can catch me on Kasey Owens 5 and Kasey Owens 11 on either Twitter or Instagram, because I can never remember which is which. And I have a Patreon you can sign up to where you can chat with me, you can have a look at photo shoots, gym workouts and things like that on that as well. And you'll be able to be linked to my private YouTube channel for matches and things like that as well.
Molly.
Google Molly Spartan and you'll find me.
There we go.
Twitter, TikTok. I think I'm real Molly Spartan on Facebook. Also, through it as well, you are able to purchase the best wrestling T-shirt in history right now.
Well, that's the.
That one. Oh, John, you know what?
Hey, I'm on the ball. I'm the host of the most. There we go. But that's a pretty sweet design.
Look as good as with it on.
It's available on sale online, but also if you're there on Thursday, you will be able to pick them up on Sunday. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
There we go. Well, I certainly want to get one of them t-shirts because it's a pretty sweet design. One of the best designs, I think, out there. One of the best t-shirts in UK British wrestling. But Molly Spartan, Kasey Owens, I want to thank you so much for being an excellent guest. And best of luck, not that you need it, at Sirens Fury. Like I said, we're looking at the inaugural TNT Women's Tag Team Champions. But thank you so much for your time. And best of luck with your very busy weekend as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.